Me. Alright, let me grab my cup of tea. I think we'll start. Oh, hello. Sit down in my chair. Oh. Oh. I need to show people. Probably, maybe not. Yes, no. I don't know. Hi. How's everyone doing? Why have we got Reddit? I've got Reddit just on my screen. Don't know why, just did. Um, so yeah, I hope people are doing well. Hope they are not going too cray-cray in lockdown. Um, and I hope that people are going to have an enjoyable weekend. So today, we're sort of like we'll talk about what other people want to talk about. I've updated. I'll give you some updates on my life. Got a new Canon 750D camera, which I will be using to replace, not replace, well, sort of replace the current camera that's on me at the moment. So I want this camera pointing at me for better quality for the stream, but also better quality when I do any form of to camera work, because there's going to be situations, especially when I do like my little shilling ads or whatever, that I want sort of like a better camera experience, and also this is better than my 600 was, my 600D, for when I go to events, film anything, do any form of interviews or whatever. It's got a significantly better sensor in it, and it's just generally a pretty chunky, good camera. And maybe I'll get a little bit into photography as well. In general, it's a hobby that I see a lot of I can see myself getting interested in. And there's stuff like I want to start taking pictures of my models and stuff for social media things like my Adaptus Titanicus stuff, my Mechanicus army. I'm going to be building. I've got some Necron dice that I've bought. They're sort of because they're green, they're going to disappear. I've got a thing about dice at the moment, so you're going to have to deal with my brain being really sporadic today. So we're going to sort of go off on a billion tangents, hopefully when we're answering questions as well, and that'd be exciting for all of you. Yeah, I really love dice at the moment. I'm thinking about buying some expensive like gemstone dice. When I was young, I always used to love collecting like gemstones and cool rocks and things. And I love dice IRL, and they've combined the two now to make some really, really cool gemstone-looking dice. The problem is they're quite expensive, but I think it's a fine hobby to have. It's better than like snorting anything. Yesterday, for ask questions, question in brackets, and we'll get to those questions in a bit. So like this is a primer. This is me just talking crap before we go into the solid, hard hitting questions like why do you look like a potato, or maybe some Star Citizen ones that I can try and answer. I do want to. So today, I do want to talk about what we can expect to see potentially in November. We'll talk a little bit about what we can expect from a 3.11.1 build. Hopefully that will be between now and mid-November, but I'm hoping that we have something by the end of October at 3.11.1. But as I said, we'll talk about that in a minute. Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, we can talk about their newsletter sneak peek for Concierge as well, which to me implies RSI Odin Gunboat coming next month. So I've been playing D&D with with some of my mates around the house. There's 6 of us total, so we're not breaking lockdown restrictions, and everyone there is pretty isolated from the rest of the world as well. And some people are either they're shielding people or vulnerable themselves. So everyone's pretty good at being very clean, not really going outside other than the D&D we play. So yeah, it's massively nerdy. It's beautiful. I love roleplay stuff when it comes to tabletop D&D because I like socializing, and I didn't realize how much I missed it during lockdown. Just being able to see people. So I played board games and stuff as well occasionally with the same group. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm playing rogue, human rogue. I'm not overly sneaky to like the party. I'm pretty good looking after them. We've got some props now as well. We've got lots of little coins. It's so nerdy. It's so nerdy. But I love it. Love D&D. It's going pretty well. Playing Descent to Avernus, which is the prelude basically to Baldur's Gate 3 as the campaign. No, we haven't got any. Everyone's like level 2 now. Everyone just hit level 2, so we haven't got any complex stuff going on yet. But I'm so sure people don't want me to keep on talking about D&D. I suppose you probably want to talk about some Star Citizen stuff. So let's start off with this. So we got the Chairman's Club letter. Basically, just went. Make sure you vote. Make sure you vote for your candidate you want. In the elections, you've got until the 24th/25th of October. Vote for your favourite Imperator, which will affect the game's lore, whoever wins that. But at the end of the newsletter, they basically said, our contacts have let us know to expect an exciting release at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo next month. Yeah, we typically know that they like to release new ships or concept sales and stuff. So keep your eyes open for further news. We will keep you up to date with details as they arise. So, the sneak peek. Why picture? Why picture? What is this picture? Well, this is of RSI's headquarters in New York on Earth, I believe. So it's RSI implied. And that makes sense, because we're expecting the RSI Odin at some point, which is a ship that was leaked on Star Citizen Leaks. They sort of talked about it. A big old gunboat. Yeah. maybe like the Hammerhead is sort of like very turret centric, and sort of like anti-fighter, I suppose, anti-small and medium ship. That's the way I see it as well. Quite a defensive ship, the Hammerhead. I mean, people will obviously be able to outfit it differently and might see it differently, but that's the way I see it. I suspect this will be more of a larger ship-to-ship combat vessel. That's the way I would expect to see the Odin. If it is indeed the Odin, it might not be. They might have changed its name. That might just been a ship they were working on that they've now chucked away. I appreciate the love. Thank you very much. It's the YouTube guy. Thanks. There's a lot of other people better than me on YouTube. Other people, it's like PewDiePie, I would describe as the YouTube guy. Maybe Markiplier. Have you tried the new game Shipbreaker? So I've watched other people play it. The salvage in that is absolutely amazing. I mean, it is just a salvage game, so the game mechanics in that are absolutely amazing. When it's co-op, I will play it. The salvage mechanics are amazing. CIG should take notes for sure. CIG wants the basics, the core mechanics all to blend together pretty well, so that there's going to be functional removal of systems and cutting away of systems, but it's not going to be the same awesome degree I would expect that Shipbreaker is. Shipbreaker's just fantastic. Right. Have you played Baldur's Gate 3 yet? No, I'm literally, because we're doing Descent to Avernus, whatever it's called. That's the prelude to Baldur's Gate 3. I feel like I would be spoiling Baldur's Gate 3 by playing Baldur's Gate. No, I'd be spoiling Descent to Avernus by playing Baldur's Gate 3 now. Do you see what I mean? So in our D&D campaign, we've just we're looking for information on the Dead 3 cults. So that's Baal and Bane and all that sort of stuff. The evil gods. And obviously Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 is all about a Baal spawn to resurrect Baal. So it's cool. It's a good laugh. I want to get back into LARPing. I love live action roleplay. I would do Empire in the UK. Haven't been for years now, and obviously now I don't really have the opportunity to. Will you buy a new Herman Miller Logitech chair for $1,500? So I've got the Herman Miller Aeron, latest edition of the Aeron, with a headrest as well. I bought separately, and I think that it's pretty much very similar. So I will not be paying a load of money to get a new chair that I don't require. This is sort of like, I mean, unless I find out this is not great for my back, which is possible because I've been having some back problems recently, I'll probably try and keep this chair forever. Gondor, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. We have no tieflings in the party. We do have a dwarf sorcerer who can speak Draconic. I hope will be useful. I think I'm the. Everyone else is pretty good for the most part, and I think I'm true neutral, and everyone else is good though. So if there needs to be moral decisions, I think I'll be making them, so I can get around a lot of stuff. It's an interesting one. I'll use my serpent's tongue to convince people. So yeah, Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, I'm expecting new RSI ship. And it says exciting release. So it could just be a news release, but it could be a new straight to flyable ship. I would expect it to be I would expect something straight to flyable for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, and a concept, at least. And maybe some other variants of ships as well. TIG have been pretty good with not releasing too much this year in forms of ships. Which is an interesting strategy. Seems to have worked for them though. They are on for a record-breaking year, money-wise, by quite a huge amount, and they haven't really released any concepts this year. They gone through any concept cells, or has it all just been straight to flyable stuff? Oh, the Talon, I suppose, and the Shrike. The G12, yeah. There's okay, there has been a couple. That's a good point. That's a good point. It's hard to work out whether that was this year or last year now. It's all blended into one thing. Do you think they're going to be releasing the Hercules Star Referrer before the end of the year? Yes, I think we'll see it in 3.12 for the end of the year. That would be my expectation, at least the C2. What else have we got here? Oh, so we've got CIG are doing a live, Star Citizen Live at in an hour and 40 minutes-ish. So stay tuned for that, as it were. That'll be pretty good. That's got Luke Presley and a load of Star Citizen royalty talking about 3.11, and I would expect them to also talk about near future content and gameplay. Anyone here play Dual Universe? I will be doing some stuff on Dual Universe. They've asked me to take a look at it, or someone has, and they're giving me a load of keys. So I'll be looking at it with Zin. I wasn't too impressed with Squadrons, or Star Wars Squadrons. I looked at it and went, not really my thing. If people desperately want me to look at it still, then me and Zin will look at it, but if not, then meh. Will that Hill Horror Helmet and Snarling Vandal Helmet disappear from our inventory? They are permanent. They are attributed to your account. In the future, when the game goes live, you might be able to lose them somehow if you lose them, or they're on you, or they're not insured or something. But they are as permanent as a purchased item, for a real money purchased item. Do you think there will be more events like the Vandal Helmet and Benny Henge Mask in the future? Or is this a one-time thing? There will be more events like this, potentially more sophisticated and smart. If the RSI Odin is real, does it float your boat? I am more into non-combat ships, for the most part. Things like the Reclaimer, things like the Odin and the Endeavour. Those really excite me. The Banner Merchantman, Carrack. Carrack's pretty combat-ish. It's got combat capabilities, but it is mainly an explorer vessel. I'd like to see more ships in game. I'm pro Cloud Imperium doing concept sales and that sort of stuff. So as I said, you're going to have to deal with me being a bit sporadic today. I'm in a bit of a weird mood. I'm shaky and not necessarily anxious. I had a couple of drinks last night. I haven't drank for a while. So I didn't really wake up hungover, but I didn't sleep very well because of that. Some people were saying that I should try out Fallout 76 again. Apparently it's got a lot better. Me and Zin loved playing that a while ago. I don't think we did anything on stream of it. But we were having a great laugh with it. Going on an adventure. What else have we got? When will you start answering questions? Whenever I started answering questions. Good question. What else have we got here? Hello, sir. I've asked this before. Sorry to spam you. Do you know about the construction and base building? Any info would be helpful. Thank you and love your channel. So originally they were going to have outposts built out of the Pioneer. Yeah, so the Pioneer outpost construction factory ship literally goes around plopping outposts down. But that has now changed. So Cloud Imperium have been building homesteads and doing R&D and concepting larger scale bases, points of interest, settlements, and this sort of stuff. And they've said now that they want the Pioneer to be a ship that allows you to basically have a mobile factory so that you can build a larger array of structures. You don't need a Pioneer to have a set of homesteads and to build a homestead. You'll have to bring in materials and structures and stuff in some way from another location. I'm hoping that we maybe see a building or a vehicle that is like a 3D printer, sort of takes resources and makes it into other stuff that you can use to have like power plants and defense turrets and that sort of stuff around your base. That sort of makes sense to me. But yeah, the base building mechanics are significantly more expanded now. What has, I believe, stayed relatively the same is land claims. So in UEE space, so in Stanton, for example, but not in Pyro, you would have to have in Stanton a land claim to be able to properly build a base. Basically, you go, I'm claiming this land is now mine. That means the UEE law protects me, and no one else can sort of like come along and start damaging my property or stealing the resources underneath my property. So in UEE space, you will need land claims, which are literally, they solved them at one point, which was a very silly idea for real money. But it's there's going to be laws associated with that. There will be a land claim office. You'll go there, drop a beacon, bam, this is where I want to claim a land. And then I think probably go back to the office and purchase that piece of land effectively. And then you'll be able to build on it freely. But in Pyro and other non-UEE systems, or I mean, it might be this similar to when you're in an alien system. Like if you're on Banu territory, you might be able to build stuff, but you need a Banu land claim or something. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, in non-claimed systems, unclaimed systems, like Pyro, you'll be able to plop your base down wherever you want, but it's going to be as defended and protected as you've made it. So you're going to have to put defenses there, you're going to have to protect that. If someone else finds it and wants to crap all over your base, then they'll do that. Now, what I want to see from this, what I want base mechanic-wise, and what I think that Cloud Imperium are building towards, is that you will be able to effectively be semi-independent when you have a base in somewhere like Pyro. You won't have to go back to Stanton if you don't want to, yeah? Because it looks like they're building a larger crafting and manufacturing system so that you'll be able to, I mean, they haven't confirmed this, but they have said they are looking into crafting and manufacture, and they've got plans for it now on a larger scale. But I would expect you'd be able to make fuel, food, munitions, that sort of stuff, as long as you've got the resources and as long as you keep your base supplied, yeah? So you'll be able to maybe have repair paths and things like that. So you'll be able to repair all your ships and get all your ships in good working order. But how do you deal with another org you don't like in a territory? You find their base, you destroy their base. That forces them off, because then they can't supply themselves, so they have to go somewhere else. And that's what I'm really, really sort of like excited about. How much do you expect land claims will cost? I don't know. I think they were like, was it $50 in real money? I'm not sure how much they'll cost in game. Probably not too expensive. Not super cheap, so that you can't just place them everywhere. But I wouldn't expect them to cost like the same amount as like a big ship or anything. The same sort of amount. I would expect them to be the same sort of amount value-wise as like a Cutlass. Yeah, Cutlass Black. Bam. But we don't know. Will the prices of land change? I think it's the more prohibitive thing, or the thing that you want to consider more, is where the base is and what materials and resources are nearby to exploit. You might be able to find a really great area for a base that's got great minables in it, and that will take some research. And buying that information from someone else, or finding the right amount of land, that's going to be the thing that's worth more than the actual land claim itself. Do you see what I mean? That's my expectation there. If you were the Imperator, would you be vengeful or merciful? Pragmatic? Practical? Relatively merciful? Not entirely merciful, but relatively merciful. I think, in general, I think humans need a chance, and you don't just like stomp them every time they do something wrong. Otherwise, everyone would be in prison, or did. Hi, boy, do you have hair? Yeah, it's actually just Chris Roberts trying to give me some hair. Thanks, Chris. Faces into me. I appreciate the love, thank you. Why do we think the picture is RSI headquarters? Ah, that's a good question. Why do we think this picture again, it's RSI headquarters? Well, number one, I recognise it as RSI headquarters. Picture. Also, when I click on it, it says Cloud Imperium Games, Star Citizen, RSI, New York. And that's why we think it's an RSI ship. Because it makes sense. When is the ship sale happening exactly? I believe it is on the 23rd of November. I think. That's what it was last year. That's typically when they try and place it. It will be very close to then. Genius, I know. I know, right? I think Zin was quite impressed when she saw my process for news and stuff like that, and getting quite a lot of information from very tiny amounts of like detail and stuff. Some people might say it's a stretch and you're just trying to fill your videos with any old shit. But I say it's news. Shut up. Quiet you. Hey boy, you can join our org board and we can help you get started if you like. What? There's 3 of us. We're playing hard. Airlock, send me details of your org. Oh, happy to have a look at it. I'm doing some org spotlights and stuff. I probably am going to cover like a piracy org or evil org or something this month, just because of the PvP, and I sort of want to talk to some people about that. I'm going to cover a load of orgs in my org spotlight. Some people might not agree with the orgs I cover, but I'll do a range of organisations is the plan. Hey Board, been AFK with health stuff, getting all caught up. Missed your face, sir. Thank you very much, Michael. Like, I hope you are okay. Say health stuff. I hope you are all right, and you and your families are all good. No worries. You were missed. I mentioned you the other day because I hadn't seen you for like a couple of weeks. I hope you are well, sir. Thank you very much for the donation. You're a star, a scholar, and a gentleman. Thank you. So some other stuff I'd expect to see at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Expected to be like last year's Intergalactic Aerospace Expo and the more recent in May Fleet Week. So Expo Hall at New Babbage this year. That's been confirmed, or at least that's where the event is. You'll be able to almost certainly rent ships like we could previously. 2-week free fly period. Better servers than last time, better logins. Hopefully their services won't collapse again. I would expect more players to be playing this time than last time as well. So that's a lot of people playing. Cloud Imperium are trying to get 1 million unique players this year, if possible, which would not at the same time. Current players very different. So yeah, I think they're well on their way to doing that as well. So good for them. But yeah, expect pretty much every flyable ship to be usable, to free fly during that period. And when I say free fly in this term as well, I mean anyone that's made a Star Citizen account on their website will be able to play for free. So yeah, expect that at the end of November. Concept ship, RSI Odin probably, but we could see something straight to flyable. Maybe the Odin is straight to flyable, but I would expect to see not just one ship, and I would expect to see at least something in concept as well, not just straight to flyable. So we've got things like the Xi'an cargo ship, we've got the mobile refinery, we've got that Odin, we've got Titan suits. There's a load of stuff that we want to see in game ASAP, and there's lots of stuff that's been rumoured, but we're not sure what we're going to get. Maybe some variants of ships as well. I think CIG are going to be next year moving towards more modular stuff, because I think that a lot of the core systems will be done next year, and then they're going to be starting to sort of have ship customization and gameplay loops as their main focus, would be my expectation. So expect maybe them starting to consider some more modularity and variants this year. Plastic Death, happy Friday, dude. So other than the obvious ones like a medium salvage ship and such, what other non-combat ships would you like to see? I'm with you on the Star Citizen Industrial Life. Yes, I'm much more of a industrial sort of economy type player, trade. Well, actually, I'm more of a base builder, miner, and setting up sort of like factories and economic hubs and things. That's the sort of what I want to do. I want to be building mining bases. I want to be trading high value goods in more safer areas as possible, and sort of like yeah, that's probably what the main focus of my gameplay will be, trying to get my bank balance as large as possible in game. sort of thing. Like, I quite like doing that in games. Promo Boris, thank you very much. Much appreciated. So, expect to see a small, medium, and large ship for most roles. And expect to see a ground vehicle for most roles. So probably salvage ground vehicles, probably repair ground vehicles. Some of these might, like a salvage repair thing, might be the same thing. Might be a tow vehicle because you're gonna need ways of moving stuff around and living on planets if they're doing lots of homestead stuff, for sure. I think we might see some other base building type stuff, not just the Pioneer as well. Yeah, so that's sort of my expectation. When is the event? So obviously we've got the October events on at the moment, which are now, but the November Intergalactic Aerospace Expo event is should be at the end of November, typically around the 23rd of November. That's when it starts for 2 weeks, and that's what we've historically had. That's what it looks like we're having again this year. Do you think the RSI Constellation Taurus will be on sale? So I'm expecting to have the Constellation Taurus in for Q4 of this year. That's my expectation because they've been working on it, and they've been working on the Constellation docking undocking. So I would expect that again at the same time. And that sort of makes sense. Yeah. We suppose we could say it on sale at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo as well. That sort of makes sense. And some of those flyable ships, maybe they'll try and get them in for then. How much will the Idris be to buy next month? Any idea? So, I think it'll be $1,250, but bear with me 1 second. I can give you a better estimate. So expect Javelins and Idris to be on sale in the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo in sort of like lots of 50 every like 8 hours or so or something like that. That's what they kind of like to do. They'll give us more details of that. But very, very limited amounts of them. So what I'm going to do to work out its value is go to the ship upgrade tab, click on all ships, and this will list every ship that you can possibly get an upgrade for, including ships that you can't get an upgrade for. It's going to be $1,500. That would be my expectation, because that's how much is listed there. That's a lot of money. Get it in game. Unless you've got loads of spare capital. I mean, some people have got a very wealthy or have a large disposable incomes. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. I'm not your dad. Or maybe I am. I'm not. I'm often confused. People universally slam down the Connie, yet people are excited for the Taurus. It's a cheap Connie. It's like the Cutlass Black. Yeah, it's a really cheap multi-role vehicle. A lot of people are excited for it. Okay, what about the Ion Crusader? So yeah, the Ares, I would love to see ASAP. I haven't got any inklings of when that's going to be, though. I would expect it by Q3 of next year, but I don't know. Is there any chance there will be an agriculture ship? Only really the Endeavour at the moment. Yes, that's quite possible. They will have some vehicle or ship for farming. It depends on how fleshed out they want those mechanics to be. Obviously, just having the Endeavour with its biodomes and homesteads, probably with farms. If they've got like mechanics for farming, that they'll probably want to expand that to other vehicles and things as well. Again, that's not a confirmation. That's I reckon. What should be most looking forward to in the next 6 months? Mercury Star Runner. So we're getting the Mercury Star Runner in 3.11.x. So in this 3.11 branch that we're in at the moment, at some point there will be an update with the Mercury Star Runner in it. So I'm expecting that for 3.11.1, and I'm expecting some fixes with that as well. Some tweaks, some balance, some tweaks to combat, most likely, and some tweaks to the laws and quality of life stuff. Not a huge amount, just little tweaks here and there. And I would expect that for between the end of October and the middle of November. That's what I'm expecting 3.11.1 with the Mercury Star Runner. Now, it's possible that the Mercury Star Runner will be a little bit later than that, but that's my expectation at the moment. Do you think we'll get an old ship like the Zeus? I don't know. I think they'll put a load of these ships in as wrecks. I think we're going to see a lot of interesting stuff from the shipjackers Because we've seen some like the junker ships. Let me actually let's bring this up on the screen and show you. So with this, we had some cool little new Squadron 42 clipettes. So what is this? Is this just a floating platform? Is this a ship? Is it just like a little bus thing? So to me, it looks like a kind of junker, stripped down terrapin. It's like been repurposed almost. Yeah? But it might be like a civilian vehicle. It's hard to tell. And it's in a very junker looking area as well, right? But I suspect there's going to be lots of shipjacker ships, which are literally lots of different parts of ships stuck together. Other thing I wanted to show as well is the Cydnus. So the mining tick. There's that mining tick in the background there. We'll get a better shot of it in a second. Yeah. Got the Cydnus there as well. The mining tick. It sort of like looks like a Argo, but with mandibles and a big old butt. And we should be able to get them in the Persistent Universe at some point as well. Obviously, this is for Squadron 42's needs. I really like it. They're pretty big. Quite big. Bigger than I thought. With gas clouds coming soon, and potentially similar mechanics to mining, do you think fueling / refining fuel will come back to the roadmap? At some point, obviously it will. I'm not sure what the priorities are for mechanics. So we know that they're planning some medical gameplay by the middle of next year. They're planning to have iCache in for next year, and server meshing for next year, and pyro system, and so that's 4.0 next year, basically. We've got Q1 and Q2 of next year. We've got the Crusader and Orison and a landing zone split between those patches. So a bit of it and then the rest of it. So I mean, 2021 is going to be a big year for Star Citizen. I was hoping this year that we're going to have a lot more. But this year has been obviously a bit turbulent, as it were, with the whole global lockdown situation. So, but yeah, so gas clouds, expanded points of interest, and sort of nebula and stuff, where you're going to see missions and stations and stuff situated in, and that should be in Q4 of this year, I believe. Cloud Imperium has, at least in the past months, been replacing all of the ship's veterans in one go. Like, reallocate? What? Like the Cutlass 100s, even if the gameplay isn't ready yet, like the Cutlass Blue. With that being said, people have been pretty confident we'll see the C2 in 3.12. Yes, I'm pretty confident of that as well. But not certain of the M2 and A2. Given the above, isn't it more likely they'll release all the Starlifters at once rather than one by one? I think that it depends on a lot of factors, and mainly that being, is it ready? Do they need it for Squadron 42? And how complex are the other variants? As far as I'm aware, the other variants are mostly just internal changes and skins. But maybe there's more external stuff that I'm not aware of thinking about it. I'm expecting just the C2, though. I might be wrong. Maybe they're trying to do them all together. But I wouldn't expect that. I would expect the C2 first. Thank you very much, Michael Like. Oh, you are such a scholar. Thank you very much. Heading out, wants to make sure I stop by. Still got the best Star Citizen content out there. See you all in the best. Thank you very much, sir. Very much appreciated. Very kind. Entirely incorrect and wrong. But I think there's a lot better content creators than me. But I am the most prolific, I think. Also, Zin is... I've made Zin do loads of videos this week to sort of like get her confident at doing them, and just kind of thrown them at her. Just do this guide if you can, and do some of this lore stuff for the Imperator elections. So I think that the joy will be is that maybe we'll be able to get like 2 to 3 videos out a day regularly, which will be absolutely fantastic for me and the channel. Where are the hidden training consoles of CRU L4 and CRU L5 go to in 3.11, or did CIG just forget to put them back? Oh, I don't know. I have not checked. I'll have to have a look. Maybe they have gone. Maybe they want to move stuff around, but I haven't actually checked. That's a good point, because obviously the station interiors have changed somewhat and been updated. So maybe they just don't have them anymore. I didn't even think to look for that. The subscribers get uniforms this month. Is there anything about org uniforms and armor? Could orgs create their own? So there's an expectation in the future that you'll have some customization of armor. You'll either be able to buy lots of different types of armor or have a color customization. To what extent we'll be able to fully customize armor? Like, could you make your own full-on org uniforms, which are almost entirely unique with your own decals? We don't know. But you should be able to have a high level of customization so that you can sort of make your own uniforms, sort of, and color matches and stuff for your org. But your own decals on your armor, we don't know. I mean, it's a hope. That'd be cool if you could. Lots of ship customization coming in as well. Will there be a PTU tonight or tomorrow? I heard there is a good possibility for the Mercury Star Runner. So I am expecting the Mercury Star Runner for hopefully by the end of this month, or if not, then mid sort of November. We could see a 3.11.1 patch quite soon on the PTU anyway. So we could get one today, maybe. I haven't heard there's one coming out today. Typically, I would have been notified in some way. Someone always talks. What else have we got here? Release the Mercury Star Runner or Riot? I agree. I mean, I'm really looking forward to Mercury Star Runner. It's just a cool ship. It's just a cool looking ship. It's going to be a great multi-role ship. Also, sort of scratches my itch for less combat-y type things as well, while still being relatively actiony. Sort of the way I see it anyway. Looking forward to exploring it as well and finding all the little nooks and crannies. When will they add the new star system and how will we travel between them? Sorry, I'm kind of new. That's cool. We are going to see Pyro at some point next year. That is the plan. And they're going to be connected via jump points. So gateways. Let me do this for you, mates. Towards the end of this video that I'm putting on now, you'll see a jump point. It'll be a while, but basically, yeah, Pyro system and a jump point to connect the Pyro with the standard system. So you'll go to this gate and then interact with the gate, and it will fire you to the other system, and maybe you'll have to safely maneuver in the jump point. Though I suspect it will be pretty easy or semi-automatic or something, especially with known jump points. They shouldn't be that dangerous because they've got gates there to sort of stabilise them. And I'm not expecting too much gameplay from jump points beyond interacting with the gate and going through. They look cool when you're going through them. I suspect that finding a jump point that has just been discovered by you that doesn't have a gate, doesn't have a proper jump point gate, that might be more treacherous and have gameplay to it. Who would win in a Gladius fight? Salty Mike or Montoya? I don't know how much Montoya plays. I would expect Salty Mike, just because I know he actually plays at least semi-regularly. When Montoya's playing, he's probably busy running the org and chilling and socialising. So your money's on Montoya? Okay. We'll get them to play at some point. I always choose a champion to fight for me if I ever have someone saying, who will win in a fight, BoredGamer, or, okay, Zen, you're my champion. You get fired if you lose. No, no, that's a bit harsh. What else have we got? Do you think smuggling narcotics will be easier when the Mercury is out? I mean, it will give you another ship to smuggle in. But I don't think it will necessarily be any easier or more difficult with any particular ships in game at the moment. What we want is new cargo containers that shield what's in them, and like the new computers / blades stuff. They've talked about potentially having computer blades which fake cargo manifests and sort of like hide your goods and stuff. That's a way out. Two routes to justice, $5 final death. I like your system. I appreciate all the love, and I think Zin appreciates all the Zin love as well. Thank you. What else have we got here? Would a base almost be like a carrier ship in Elite Dangerous? I mean, hopefully cheaper to run, eh? No, it depends on what you built on your base, doesn't it? You could build lots of different things on your base. I suppose you could build lots of different things on the carrier. What else have we got here? Can we play chess in the Star Runner? Well, there is what appears to be a chess table in the rec room, which also, I believe, is under that table is an entrance to some of the ducts and vents in the ship, and so you can run around and hide stuff. Polaris and Orion updates for the next expo. I hope so. I hope I'm expecting to see the hologram tables like we had in the Fleet Week. So I would expect to see some updates to ships as well. I think CIG realised how effective that was. Also, I am expecting a proper Fleet Week style event, but probably with Xeno threat. So I'm expecting at the moment, and not confirmed, that they basically CIG said, oh, there's some troubling transmissions coming from Pyro, which we know that Xeno threat are from Pyro. We know that from Star Citizen leaks and some other sources that they were working on this faction that would potentially be moving around with a fleet that would cause trouble in areas, and there would be like these big open missions to go and deal with these Xeno fleets. So I'm expecting to see some form of event like that in game, potentially for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo as well. It'd be cool if it is for then. That's what I'm hoping. Not a confirmation. It is a hope though. With the recent change in hardware requirements, e.g. CPU changes for AVX, does this mean most PCs will be obsolete by the time things like server meshing fully hits? No. So server meshing and the Gen 12 renderer and all the tech they are building into their engine should just make Star Citizen more scalable at on a wider range of hardware and more hardware neutral. However, if you want to run the game at 4 or 8K or something, yes, you're going to need more modern, newer hardware. And obviously, Star Citizen to run as intended, to run at the super high settings and everything, you're going to want some of the latest hardware. Yeah, some stuff they do, like the adding of the requirement to have AVX extensions, did basically then retire all CPUs before 2011. Yeah, but obviously quite annoying if you have one of those older CPUs. But yeah, the 3080 and 3090s for NVIDIA, they look great. And I'm really digging the new Ryzen 5000 series. That's what we're building towards at the moment. So me and Zin are going to have pretty similar PCs. I need to work out what case to go for my Star Citizen build. Do we go for the Big Chungus? Do we go for an open case? I'll be putting a poll up. I was supposed to put one up like last month, but I'll do it. I'll try and do it today if I remember. Do you guys think they'll ever add to a bed to the right core? To my knowledge, all the other variants have one. I thought it had a fold-out bed. Does it not? Do you think the progress with docking will introduce cargo transfer or refueling mechanics? So when they add ship to station docking in game, those larger ships should also at the same time be able to be repaired, refueled, and rearmed at those stations as well, as far as I'm aware. Otherwise, you'd be like, we've got these big ships now, the only place they can dock is these stations, but we can't do anything with them. So they should be spawnable at those stations as well. When do you think smuggling will be viable again? When they do a economy rebalance. They could do something for 3.11.1, or it might be for 3.12, but the economy could be in a worse state when they tweak it. It's one of the more erratic things. Jumptown was so good and unintended when we had it, and I hope that they are able to capture the essence of that. So they Cloud Imperium are very much aware that when they do an event in game, or incentivize players to go to a particular area, lots of emergent gameplay happens in that area. Lots of action hotspots occur. So at the moment, Grimhex is pretty hotspot. Sometimes Benny Henge, if people are feeling extra douchey. So the getting the 50 unique player kills for your Vandal mask. I think I've only got, on my main account, I've only got like 2. On my other account, I've got like 10. It's all been honor kills around Grimhex. But I'm not overly worried about getting the Vandal helmet hat. I desperately want it, or anyone desperately wants it. I think just hanging around Grimhex, you'll get it relatively. You have to invest a couple of like 3 or 4 days of gameplay into getting it. I'm not talking like full days or anything. When did they require AVX? They required AVX with the 3.11 live build. They updated the launcher to need it, I believe. But yeah, I want to see more areas like Jump Point. I say more areas. Specifically, one area for that type of gameplay. Hotspots for certain types of gameplay, and not huge amounts of them. Because you want the hotspot to be hotspot because people are going there because they are trying to do the most efficient thing, which when we had Jump Point was buying stuff at Jumptown. Was going there, going to Jumptown, buying a load of drugs and then selling them, and that created a load of friction and interesting gameplay where people would like be queuing up to purchase stuff from the terminal. Other people would be locking down Jumptown, all that sort of stuff. So. So I've had, just recently, over the last couple of days, I've had a terrible time crashing. Like, typically, I get very few crashes and have a pretty good Star Citizen experience. But recently, I've been crashing loads. So I'm not sure what has changed, other than Star Citizen is sometimes a cruel mistress. Thank you very much, Steve. Much appreciated. Thank you for all the people that have subbed, donated, and followed today. Thank you. When do you think smuggling will be... we talked about that. We do have one each of the 100 series of ships to give away, which I need to work out how to give them away. Maybe on social media, maybe on my Twitter, maybe on my Discord. Maybe one on my Discord, one on my Twitter, one on my Reddit. I'm not a massive fan of giving away things on live streams because I find it hard to do fairly. Maybe I need to make Zin choose. What do you think the length of development is caused? What do you think the length of development is caused by the number of devs or the number of innovations? Excellent channel we have here. Huh? I don't really understand your question. Star Citizen has a very long development cycle. More devs mean they can work on more parts of the game, and there's less bottlenecks. That's what can happen there. But also, conversely, more devs mean harder to manage and harder to communicate within the company. So you get more inefficiency the more devs you have, to an extent as well. And then, obviously, them having feature creep, innovation, R&D, coming up with new ideas and stuff. You could bundle it all under feature creep. And it's not a dirty word. It is a thing. It happens with Star Citizen. We know it. That's obviously going to slow stuff down. Do you think there will be farming on the surface of planets? Yes. That is the plan. That's been a plan for a long time. They haven't talked too much about it. They've said that you'll be able to change the topsoil on planets and build structures, but that's about all we know. And I suppose we don't even know that, but that's what they've said. I suppose is a better way of saying it. Because this stuff changes all the time. Vote for Sharad. Well, vote for whatever Imperator you like the sound of the most. We do have 5 Imperators to choose from. Make sure you vote before the 25th of October. You've got between now and the end of the 24th to vote. I voted for Liani Addison, the female Elon Musk who's into AI, because I want to see Skynet run amok in the Star Citizen universe. And that'll be fun. Chris is just making sure I don't break any NDAs. Hi, Boards, what's cracking? Stuff. Oh, you're Eradicator. You're right, mate. You're doing well, sir. When I've finished on my stream, I'll be checking out probably some of your videos. People should watch Eradicator. He makes Star Citizen content in his own way. As does everyone, I suppose, that makes Star Citizen content. We're all making our own way. Some people really like Costigan. Some people really like LaSalle. Some people like Addison. I see the least love for Sharad. At least the least vocalized love. I'm expecting it to be I'm expecting it at the moment to be between Costigan and Addison, but that's just a gut feeling. Zin love or forbidden Zin love? You have to get past her boyfriend first. DC's very nice. He's a very nice guy. You might just go, oh, why would you want to go out with Zin? I can imagine saying she's a monster. Oh, I fucking love you, Zin. You're my favourite. You and Kit are my favourites. And DC, you can't ever tell any of your friends that they're your favourite, because then the other ones get all like, oh, why do you love me? Hey bud, any news on the Star Runner? Or are we stuck at 108 tasks? I'm expecting it to go to PTU pretty soon. I would hope to see it by the end of this month, if not mid-November. That's sort of what it looks like to me. It's not. It can go to PTU while stuck with its last couple of tasks, because typically in the PTU phase as well, there get that stuff sorted. You be nice. You be nice to my Eradicator. He's my pretty little boy. He's my lovely boy. Anderson isn't even human. How dare you? How dare you, sir? Oh, thanks, Eradicator. I hope you're doing well as well, sir. I was genuinely really worried about you with your skin issue a while ago. I hope you and everyone else is staying as sane as they can during lockdown times. I don't know how it is for everyone in the areas they're in. In the UK, I haven't been noticing it too much because I've been inside the house. I like being indoors for the most part. I do go a bit stir crazy when I'm unable to go to the pub, because I'd like to go to the pub like once a month. And obviously I can't really do that. You're allowed to, but I don't think it's sensible to at the moment. especially when I'm like sort of shielding my family. In Taiwan, nothing's happening. We're more worried about being wiped out okay, in a war. Okay. There were, I suppose if it's all going well there in Taiwan, it's all good. I hope you don't get wiped out in a war. Did you get the Vandal helmet yet? So no, I've got... My main account's got like 2 unique kills. Me and Sin, probably. And my the other account I've been starting to do it on, it's got about 10. I haven't been actively trying to get it, really. Although it took me about an hour to get 10. Maybe an hour and a half, actually. I wasn't getting the quickest. Just around Grim Hex, though. Sort of like messing around with people there. Not a planned group, just people turning up. Speen88, thank you very much for the donation. Very much appreciated, sir. So the thing is that I really like most of the Star Citizen content creators, and even the ones I don't like, I will watch their content. So I'm talking about, I'm not a massive fan of failure to reports content, for example. But I will still watch it, because sometimes he has some good points. Sometimes he has some hot takes on what I should do. There was this rant he had from CitizenCon last year when had been drinking when I came on the screen. It's about a 10-minute rant of just hate towards me. I was like, oh. It's pretty rough. I would not show the rant because I'd worried that it would potentially get your channel banned because of how bad it is. I was like, oh my god. But sometimes he has genuinely good points, and he actually plays Star Citizen, and a lot of people would dismiss him as a hater, but I mean, each to their own, and it's useful information for me. So I like to watch loads of different content creators, like Radicator and Salty Mike are some great people to watch, because they will give you very different opinions on how they feel about the game. Great, you sort of want that, because no one reviewer, no one person knows everything fully, knows everything without bias, and likes the same sort of things, and will look at the same things in the same way. Same as Montoya. I really love Montoya's videos for getting some news and hot takes on the way he sees stuff. But there's a load of good content creators out there. Like the super talented editors like Morphologists, who does stuff. When Zin could edit and get footage like Morph, take over the whole of YouTube. Jeez. The Sidness is the mining tech, and we saw some more clips of it in the Squadron 42 video, sort of at the beginning of it recently. Could we see that in the game this year? I mean, we could. It's possible. I haven't contacted Saurus since we last played Among Us together, which was a few weeks ago. I will drop him a message to make sure he is okay. Because I need to stay in touch with people like Noopfire and Salty Mike and Saurus. Obviously, for some reason I didn't mention Noobify in that list. Noobify is probably one of my favourite people in the world. And I love his content as well. I think it's just so ingrained in me. Apologies, Noob. Hopefully he's not watching that. Or maybe he's watching now, he's like, now he's mentioned me. Noobify is probably one of the best content creators for the content I would consume. Oh, Speen88! Hey BG, love the channel. Thank you very much, sir. Quick thing, Elon doesn't like AI. So, Elon does like AI, in my opinion, because he's aware that AI could cause a problem, could be the great filter. There's a lot of things that AI could lead to the downfall of mankind. Because sort of Elon's talks about, because he works with it on AI. He does a lot of AI type stuff, and he was talking about the unification of AI and man sort of together, using AI as a tool, merging with AI effectively, so that we're not wiped out. We sort of become half man, half AI. Yeah, that's why he's inventing the neural link to bring computers to our brain to make AI useless. Yeah. I see that as a merging of the two. So I think it's not that he doesn't like AI, in my opinion. Maybe I have not listened to everything that Elon Musk said. He might just go, I don't like AI, and you might be referencing him directly, and in which case, I'm done. And that's fine. But I feel that he is just aware of that AI could be pretty dangerous, and that humans are both amazingly intelligent and stupid. Well, no, humans are amazingly intelligent, but so bad at the application of that intelligence sometimes, and their wisdom is lacking. So we're not wise, but we are smart. Good morning, BoredGamer. Snowy morning here. I wish it was a bit cooler in the UK. I had a couple of drinky poos. I got through a bottle of Gentleman Jack, a half bottle of Gentleman Jack, with half bottle each, me and another gentleman, yesterday. And when I'm slightly hungover, because I'm not bad, but slightly hungover, I burn very hot. So I wish it was snowing here. And I'll talk about this very briefly because I'm not sure how controversial or polarizing this sort of conversation is. So I'm very pro extended consciousness. So like I like the idea of people being able to choose to be uploaded to a computer. If that technology exists in my lifetime, great. I'm really excited for it. I also probably want to be frozen when I die. And I'm not even joking about that. Well, I'll talk more about that. It might make it into a bit of a meme and a joke, but it is true. I'm actually Christian, but I would never impose my beliefs upon anyone. I'd talk about them, and I'd say this is what I believe. It's right for me. This is sort of like help me build my moral code. But I want everyone to live their life not harming anyone else as much as you can, not harm anyone else, and to be as happy or have as much purpose as they can. Being happy is pretty hard. Being happy is not something you should strive to always be happy. That's madness. Because I'm bipolar. There's nothing I could do to always be happy. But that was also conversely, I know I'm not going to be too sad all the time either, which is pretty good. I don't want to be unhappy, and I want to have purpose. I quite like what I do. Sorry, I sort of went off topic there, off piste. Bored, hot takes on wisdom. I'm hoping that at some point we can play chess in the Mercury Star Runner. They do have the physics and interaction system which would support it, for sure. And I suspect we will see lots of silly things like that. I don't think it will be enforced, though. So I think I'll have to... Actually, I think I prefer it to be enforced. When I mean enforced, I have rules that you can only do certain interactions that are correct. I hope you're enjoying Squadrons Eradicator. I didn't think much of it, personally, but I might check it out. Hope you are okay, sir, and you take care. Peace. See you later, buddy. Do you think progress with docking will introduce cargo transfer or refueling mechanics? They are working towards cargo transfer. Refueling mechanics in the sense of you'll be able to use a station services to refuel your ship. Yeah. Proper refueling, maybe when we have ship to ship, they'll probably have the new refueling. That's a while out, though. Ship to station docking. Well, we've got hard docking, which is coming first, which is the P-52, P-72 docking with the Constellation. That's probably going to be in by the end of this year. Then you've got ship to station docking. I mean, if they're super prioritizing ship to station docking, maybe you'd see it by the end of the year, though it's much more likely to see it early next year. And then more ship-to-ship docking after that. I would say for people that are looking to grab Star Citizen at the moment, if you like what you see, become a Star Citizen tourist, join an org, go play now, great. However, end of November should be a 2-week free fly period, so you can try out the game and see what it's like. You're still on the fence. So obviously we'll have, in November, we should have lots of stuff happening with the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, new ships, some events, huge huge Star Citizen party. Technoblix! No Man's Sky has multiple servers with different levels of danger. I know Death for Spaceman is a thing, but is there any talk about having a server specifically for easy mode as well? No. So different star systems will have effectively different difficulties and security responses and things like that. So there will be effectively safer systems than not safe systems. So Stanton is sort of like a moderate difficulty one. It is not. It is a privatized system. It's not truly UEE. They sort of sold it out. So there's a mixture of pirates and private security and a lot going on there. And obviously borders some entirely lawless, dangerous pirate systems and dangerous enemy stuff. So, but like Terror and Sol, they should be pretty secure. Really looking forward to seeing, the more I think about the Sol system, seeing Earth and being able to like go to Mars and mine on it. Do you think the Star Runner will be more of a hauler and rock transport when it goes live? I don't know how it's going to be used. I don't know yet. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like Squadrons. A lot of people did like Squadrons. I was expecting a lot more. What else have we got? Oh. When will we get procedural enemy spawns on planets? So, they've been working on AI reinforcements, NPCs, spawn lockers, and NPC physicalization, and the dynamic universe simulation. Now, some of this is coming next year. I am hoping that they are able to get in dynamic spawn lockers, well, NPC spawn lockers, for the end of this year. That would be absolutely great. That would allow reinforcements and NPCs to exist in more appropriately in and around landing zones and these bunkers and stuff. For them to actually truly move around outside and on planets, I know they're working on it. I don't know when that's going to be. So this footage is from CitizenCon 2019 and shows off some of the mission stuff that's not in yet, and some of the new locations we're hoping to see in the game soon, and Pyro and Pyro Jump Point very sort of briefly. Will bases be attachable from land and air, or we have to have a force field of some sorts? What? Attackable rather than attachable. That's probably what you mean. We do not 100% know how base defense and attack will work yet. We know there's going to be ways of attacking them and ways of defending them, but exactly how that's going to work, we don't know. You should be able to defend it in lots of different ways, and potentially, maybe you can have some sort of EMP weaponry, which makes it very, very, very hard to attack from air, which is probably what you'd want. Because if you could just wipe everything out from orbit, that's not great base defense gameplay, eh? But having to attack it from the ground with cars and stuff like that, that would be quite exciting. How far would you say the development is on the Hercules series? I'm expecting to see the Hercules C2 by the end of this year. I'm hoping I think it's highly likely that I'll get it in. I see all these starter guilds on YouTube usually showing off delivery mission, etc. But can you start a game by buying combat as your first and start right away from dogfighting? A little bit confused by the question. But you can immediately take combat missions, yes. Bounty hunting and mercenary missions, yeah. G. Thanks, Astro Mappers. Thanks. G. Are you going to watch Star Citizen Live when it's supposed to start? I'll probably just leave you with Star Citizen Live. I'm not feeling the greatest today. So my back, really in pretty bad pain. I did not sleep very well last night because I had a drink yesterday, a couple of drinks, and that's being a little hungover and not sleeping very well, and generally having a back problem recently has caused my back to now implode. I will get a video out on a summary of what they talk about in Star Citizen Live, because hopefully Luke will tell us about some of the near future plans for 3.11.1 and 3.12 and things like that. Any news on smuggling gameplay? Just asking because the new PvP event selling drug at Grimhex is better since less traders stop there. Need more PvP. I think it's good for my wallet. I want to see more events more regularly, and I want to see some new hot zones for sure. Ship to ship docking, or are we only getting ship to station? So as I said, P72, P52 to Constellation docking. The first time we're docking, we're getting hard dock. Then we're getting ship to station. Later, we're getting ship to ship. Can you arrange for us to try a Uri Geller-style psychic experiment to summon the Mercury Star Runner? What? Bend the Star Runner like a spoon. What else have we got here? Any news on the Merchantman? No new news on the Merchantman, although I still believe that they're planning to do the Polaris before the Merchantman now, but we'll have to wait and see. I would expect to see more on the Polaris and the Merchantman, probably at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, if not, then by the end of the year. Just some more on that. Yeah, so what they talked about with the AI blades was pretty cool. So the computer systems that you're about to put in your ship are going to allow for quite a lot of different things, a huge amount of automation. So the hologram helmet, they were working on holographic shaders, which they haven't finished yet. I think they got reprioritized. You will still see the holographic helmet at some point. I do occasionally poke CIG about it. Thank you very much for the question, Hanif, and the subscription. I don't know how to answer your question, Astro Mappers. There's literally just the question G. Roger Walker, probably an unpopular opinion, but missiles being nerfed, I think, is a bad idea. I feel like countermeasures more plentiful and more effective. I feel like they've made countermeasures more plentiful and effective. They have made countermeasures more effective, for sure, yeah. That would make your defensive skill as a pilot more important. So there are major changes coming, proper major changes coming with the missile operator mode and a big missile rework next year. So early-ish next year, that's when we're going to get a big rework. I think the missile nerf that they've put in for 3.11 is a functional nerf. It is a quality of life fix and a short-term fix. I think it is better than having super large amounts of missile spam, but it is not where I want missiles to be. I want missiles to be expensive, not incredibly hard to use, but you want to use the right missile for the right job, and the missiles should not just be a delete button. It should be, they work in very specific ways to help you in combat, and they should be avoidable unless you've like built up a huge amount of signature or whatever. However, there are some cool things about missiles now. If you're running, for example, distortion weapon builds, that will build up EM and heat signature, IR signature on your target, and make it so those countermeasures, if you fire a missile at them, their countermeasures are going to be significantly less effective because their ship is going to be burning hot. So that missile is going to stay on them a lot of the time. So that's quite cool. So I do think there's a good skill curve to it. I do actually quite like the missile changes personally, but I do see what you're saying with you didn't like the nerf. But I think it's a functional nerf which was needed in the short term, especially for the event. Because can you imagine just everyone just missile spamming each other to get these Vandal helmets? Actually, people would be able to get them a lot easier and quicker. I think we'll have the Corsair next year. It's not overly complex as a ship, but I haven't heard them working on it at all. I mean, the Drake pipeline's pretty refined as well. I don't know. Is the answer to that? I don't know what sort of priority it's at. I think Luke Presley enjoys creating things to torment us players. Luke Presley is one of my favourite people. I think he's a fucking gem of a human. He's really nice. He's really chill. And he's genuinely talented. And he wants to make... he wants to put bits in games that people enjoy. If you get the chance to talk to him at an event, do it. He is well worth chatting to. Although he is reasonably timid of people. I think it literally drains his energy. Sort of like a, slightly damaged genius. I mean, sometimes I hate people as well, and he doesn't hate them. You know what I mean? I quite enjoy socialising, but sometimes it is tiring. Talk to a load of people. I think it's harder for some people than others. I think it is genuinely draining. Anyway, I can't overly speak for him, but he's a genuinely great human being. I love that man. Are you going to have a Star Citizen costume for a show later this month? You want me to cosplay or something? I could do that. I could do one of the new military dress uniforms. I've got half the gear ready. Well, it seemed they spent a lot of time transferring everything to building blocks this year. Is this a process set to be complete soon? So, most of the overhaul set to be complete soon. Yes, I think it's pretty much being finalised of the moving stuff over the next 2 patches or so, with the elevator panels and the rest of the HUDs and stuff. But then there's a load of new stuff they want to do with the building block system. So basically, there's much better UI building tools now, which they're going to be using for a huge range of features in game. I know they're overhauling all of the ships HUDs as well for manufacturers. They've got like manufacturer theme that all very similar functionality-wise, if not identical, but they're going to have different themed, different manufacturers are going to have different HUDs, which makes sense. Is there a black variant of the Mercury Star Runner? Yes, there is. There was the skin you got with the Mercury Star Runner Belligerent Duck event. That's weird. But in the future, you're about to paint it black anyway. Is he reading chat? Yes. The hardware requirements were a stupid move. So this is you're talking about AVX changes. I think some stuff they need to adopt, and I'm not sure. Could they have avoided forever? Just avoided having AVX instructions. I mean, it is going to be annoying to some people with older systems, or that are using some older workstation CPUs for sure. I think it's a very tiny percentage of people. I wish they'd given us more warning than just a couple of weeks. Yes, but it might be like, look, we're going to be using these instructions because we sort of need to. If it was genuinely avoidable, then it was a bad idea. And easily avoidable. But if it was a sensible move and they need it, then I'm not gonna bust their balls too much. Is there any news on the Crusader Ares? No new news on the Ares that I've heard. Oh yeah, Nirian, Alexander Belov. Yeah, he makes great stuff. So some of the super talented editor people, when I was talking about Morph, I was also thinking of him and Zenthor. I love Haskahaz screenshots. A lot of my thumbnails on my channel are of Haskahaz screenshots because they're just so good. I zoned out then. Oh. When do we get NPC crews? What year? What quarter? We don't know. I would expect to see AI blades in before NPC crew. So that will be the automation of some of your ship systems with computers or software. So you'll be able to have an AI sort of module, boop, boop, computer, running a turret for you, doing certain tasks, automatically firing animations for you, or whatever you choose to function to be. But there's going to be quite a lot of functionality that they're thinking of at the moment. Lots of different types of blade you can buy. How about CIG give a Zeus to everyone that plays before launch? And the Zeus is like a really, really, really old ship and all. I'd like that. Museum piece. I appreciate all the love. Thank you. When do you think they'll finish the Aurora, like opening the VTOLs and other stuff in the Aurora? I do think that the Aurora is actually going to get a bit of a rework. I'd hope that they also sort of crunch down all the Auroras, so there's just a couple of variants. There's so many versions of the Aurora. Just make the MR into the LX. That's what I do, and have the LN and the LX. And then you don't need any of the other stupid versions of the Aurora. ES. I mean, who has an ES even? Why would you buy one? I've not read The First Immortal. I have read... I've played Planescape Torment, which is absolutely fantastic as a game. One of my favourite games ever. I love that Microtech mission video. Is that something that they're supposed to be in the game? So the elements of this should be being used to form more missions in the future. And I would expect to see almost an identical mission in the game in the not too distant future as well. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk this year. Is it this year still? Is it coming out in November? Or have they moved it back again? Rumours a few weeks ago said the Kraken was going to be has increased in size apparently while building it. Things were not fitting. That is quite possible. When they build out some of the large ships that have some complex functionality, they go, there's not enough room for cargo. There's not enough room for the HABs. There's not enough... So, although they do largely white box stuff now with everything in mind and build out the internals very roughly before they put a ship to concept, they sometimes still are built out to be a bit larger, even if it's just for a few meters more. Odin, maybe a big sniper capital ship. I think it's going to be an anti-larger ship. That would be my expectation. Big guns on it. Probably forward-facing guns. Or actually, I saw some of the leaks, but I can't really remember what they were. Is there a black variant? North American Stoner. We talked about that earlier. Oh, I've just jumped back up to where those questions were earlier. The Vandal Mask Hunt has dredged up discontent concerning PvP. I'm finding myself trying to defend piracy versus griefers. I'm a PvP and have no interest in piracy. They are not the same. So, yeah, piracy and griefing, very different things. PvP, at the moment, in the game, people attacking you is not griefing, necessarily. I mean, it can become griefing if someone was repeatedly pad ramming you at an area or otherwise locking you down in a zone using exploits or something. That would be griefing. Just specifically bullying you. Yeah. But a lot of that is... people are trying to get that Vandal Mask, so that has a lot more people fighting. You typically don't have people just fighting everywhere. There's a lot of fighting around Grimhex. That makes sense, because you're not going to go to prison so much. But around other stations, the defences there are pretty tight, so people don't attack so much. If you're doing trading and stuff, take an escort with you. But I suppose it's still pretty dangerous. What I didn't like currently is people seem to ram me when I'm winning with fighting with the Gladius, which is a bit sad. but upselling. Will the Mercury smuggling compartments work on release? I suspect that there will be the interior of the smuggling compartments and the vents and everything that you can move through. Will you be able to put cargo in them? Will you be able to put boxes in them? I still suspect they'll be detected on scans if you get scanned or whatever. I don't think you'll be able to actually use them for proper cargo yet, if you see what I mean. Panoramic's not PvP. I agree, but it is against a player. It is player versus player in the rawest sense. Just not smart. It's dumb. Roger Walker, I'm the king of one of the wishful features. So, have you heard anything about them enabling split throttle functionality for HOTAS that are capable for it? No, I have not. However, I know that Cloud Imperium are going to be supporting all sensible control devices that it's sensible for them to support, and that will include quite a lot. I can't talk about the specifics of that and when that's going to be, because I literally don't know. Do you have a chirp wheel for your back? What? I've got a lumbar support on my chair. I don't know what the other thing is, you said. So with the PvP, with the Vandal Mask, it's an interesting one. A lot of people obviously don't want to get involved in PvP. Because we're in the standard system, PvP is going to be a thing there, just not a huge amount. There's going to be some systems that are significantly more dangerous, and PvP high risk high reward, and ones that are significantly safer, like Sol and Terra and some of the other like more militarized UE zones. So sort of bear that in mind. At the end of the concierge email the other day, there was a sneak peek of the picture of a cityscape. That is the RSI headquarters on New York, and I would expect an RSI ship at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, we know there's rumours of the RSI Odin gunboat that Star Citizen Leaks were talking about a while ago. I love your channel, mate. Take it back. I will. I've been done with my back. I'm a dum-dum. Is there some way to check how many unique kills you have? No, there's not a way of checking that, which is really, really infuriating. Cloud Imperium, put front-end trackers for events like this. Or have it on the website. Have it in-game, preferably. Guess as well. You're right, Zin, mate. Make sure Zin isn't in chat. No, she's not. She's in chat, but she's not on the Mumble server. Yeah, that's what we talked about that already. Is there? No, we talked about that already. Statement. I meant statement. What? This mask kill number quest has brought up unhappiness. Many players, mining, etc. feel about PvP. Worried about people unnecessarily stressing them. Yeah, it is annoying. For sure. I wish there was... I mean, take escorts with you. I know that's not ideal. But yeah, I do see the worry of, well, someone's appeared. They're going to want to kill me because they want that mask. It makes some of the area in the game just more chaotic for chaos' sake. PvP chaos. What feature or update is likely coming out this year that you're most excited about? Some of the server updates, quite genuinely, are pretty big. Hopefully we'll have less janky movement. So there's a lot of stuff that could come out for the end of year patch. What's actually currently listed? Spacescaping stuff actually will probably be pretty cool. So we're literally getting giant gas clouds, nebula, and points of interest in them, sort of space stations in them. The refinery decks are going to have gameplay associated with them so that you can refine mined goods and then move it around and sell it. It's going to be interesting for the economy. There's supposed to be like a load of AI stuff coming. I think for me, I mean, the tractor beam stuff might be pretty cool. It might be just the gas clouds. If they make the game look so much cooler, I'll be pretty happy. Yeah, network stuff and gas clouds for the stuff we know about for sure. But there's a lot of stuff that they could put in the game. When is the expo this year? Expect the expo at the end of November, around the 23rd of November. Is the area in the game being shown in the video accessible in game? It's not accessible yet. The ground location where he's infiltrating, but it should be in the future. Do you expect to see the Odin system fully implemented in game after Squadron 42? Yes, at some point. Yeah. I used to do loads of content on Diablo 2. Oh, I really like Diablo. I'll be checking out Diablo 3 for sure. Cool. When I have a new one. What are we on? Diablo are we on at the moment? 12? I hope that implementing a feature when hunting a bounty, the target has a chance to surrender. Does this indicate possible arrest mechanics for bounties who are wanted alive? So yes, in the future, for sure. There is going to be a surrender mechanic for the end of this year where you can, when you're told to stop by security forces specifically, I believe, you can basically turn off and power down your ship, and then they'll arrest you and you'll spawn in prison or whatever as a lesser crime, I suspect, than them having to kill you and take you out. Or obviously they're trying to build in Death for Spaceman as well next year and things like that as well. Or they said they're going to start talking about it, so mortality and medical stuff. So sort of bear that in mind. I said it in the past, and I'll say it again. This game is a scam. Sell your ships on Reddit to fool. Thanks, Pranksing. Thanks for your opinion. What else have we got? Thanks for the love. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well, Floorboard, as well. What is taking CIG so long to bring out the Star Runner? Do you have any ideas? Oh, they hadn't finished it. It's not so long, is it? Is it 2 weeks at the moment? Delayed from the 3.11 initial build, and they did say it's going to be coming out in 3.11.x. I'm hoping that we have it by the end of this month, and if not, almost certainly by mid-November. Do you think we'll see at least the alpha or beta of Squadron 42 next year? Yes. I mean, yeah. I think we'll see a lot of Squadron 42 next year. Lots of marketing and stuff like that towards it as well. I'd put money on it. How do you think group gameplay will evolve next year? Markers and playing in groups is a bit clunky, is it now? They're going to continue to evolve group gameplay, permission systems for ships, setting roles for crew members, so they can move between certain ships and ship systems and use certain areas. They're, as a core pillar of the game, they're building organization and group and party systems in, and you'll be able to form a group fully outside of the game and do a lot of group admin and stuff, real time, both on the website and in game. but just expect more and more and more features and more quality of life updates over the coming patches. I heard from a reliable source that Stanley Tweedle is a god, a warrior, and a gent. What? Me's merciful shadow fall. What are you talking about? What's going on? What? When is the Expo this year? So Expo, end of November, 23rd of November, I believe. Could the Mercury Star Runner be released then? I would hope that it would be released before that. Oh, it Lex. Oh, I haven't seen Lex in so long. Jeez. God, we're old. Jeez. I'm 35. I haven't watched anything with my life. I play games. Badly. Living the dream. How do you think... Now we've talked about that. Star Citizen is quite obviously going to take a minimum of a few more years. Do you think by the time True 1.0 releases, we will be getting a visual overhaul? They're constantly going to be improving stuff and making stuff look better as they go along, for sure. I think that Star Citizen is going to look pretty beautiful when it releases in, what, like 4 or 5 years' time or whatever. Do you think we'll see more features and locations added more quickly after we get server meshing and cache? They said that will open the floodgates to a lot more gameplay and gameplay area pretty quickly. So yes. How long till we see cruiser-sized ships? I think they are still doing cruisers, but I don't know when. I think they're doing a larger range of capital ships for sure. Did you hear about the person who supposedly got dev tools and hacked the PU? So I saw a video about someone saying that someone else was cheating, and he was in Security Post Korea, and this guy in a prison suit literally flies in, does something and flies away, and then the guy comes back and goes, "What?" Looks around, has seen him, and goes, "Uh-huh." And this guy then flies back to him and shoots him with a gun flying above him, and then flies off again. And I go, "Huh." So that could have been a dev, though. That could have been a dev testing something. Could have been a hacker. Could have been someone with access to the dev tools. Could have been an ex-employee. Could have been a current employee. There's a lot of things that could have been... We don't really know. What the major thing to do with that is just go, CIG, this happened, bam, deal with it. Because if it was an employee or dev, that's bad form, unless the dev was doing something very important. I mean, it is now for... It's, you know. Roger Walker, last question. Feel free to ask as many as you want. You don't even have to send me money to ask questions, Roger Walker. Although it is appreciated when you do. I fly the Miss, the Freelancer Miss, because it's kind of like an A10 Warthog. The middle cargo area has no air. Are they going to fix that? Yes, they are. They're aware that some of those ships still have no atmosphere in certain areas. I also would say that the Vanguard feels more like an A10 Warthog to me. Mark, thanks very much for the money. I'm 35 and haven't done bugger all of my life either, mate. Fantastic. We'll start a guys group of 35 plus. Actually, Zim, you can be part of this as well. Not as a guy. We'll make it just a gender neutral term, guy. That perfect. Done. Boom. Because we've all done bugger all of our life. Good job, us. Give it time and work at it. You're already ahead of me, damn you. Am I? Well, thank you. I'm not sure whether this feels sorry for you or good for me. Both. I feel not mutually exclusive. Did you hear? That's what we talked about a minute ago. Right. So I'm hoping that we have the Mercury Star Runner by the end of this month, and if not, I'm expecting it before the middle of November, or by the middle of November. Some people are obviously saying they think that it's going to be released at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo at the end of November. I would hope we'd get it before then, because I think there's going to be a lot going on with the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. I think there's going to be new ships. I think there's going to be concept ships. I think there's going to be events. I think it's going to be a big old thing. Fleet Week Fleet Week merged with last year's Intergalactic Aerospace Expo is sort of what I'm expecting. So I'm quite excited for that. And I think we all should be as well. I hope there's going to be Xeno threat flying around where we've got to fight an Idris and a big fleet of ships. That would be absolutely fantastic. If Xeno threat turn up and attack a space station and we get to do defenses defending space station, oh, that'd be great. Really up for that. But maybe that's something they've got planned for later, but I'm hoping it's for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Sort of makes sense. Yeah. I'm sort of interested to know what other people think. We know that there's lots of stuff we're not getting this year, but we're getting next year. So Crusader, and so obviously we've got a placeholder Crusader at the moment, but Crusader as a gas giant and its landing zone Horizon, that's coming Q1, Q2 next year is the plan. iCache is coming next year, Server Meshing is coming next year, Pyro's coming next year, Jump Point with Pyro's coming next year. Lots of this stuff, or at least it's planned for next year. It's medical gameplay. It's starting to talk about Death of a Spaceman more. There's quite a lot. Obviously, it's a little upsetting that 2020 has been quite light Star Citizen content update wise. I'm hoping that we get a lot more in 2021. Hopefully the world can go back to some semblance of normality. Or I don't want this to become the new normal, as we say. Have you heard anything about the extended hangar modules? No. As far as I'm aware, they're trying to fully integrate all of that stuff in the Persistent Universe, where possible. What would be the ideal light combat stealth loadout? Depends on the ship that you're running. You can use the Urkel.games/calculator to work out something that you like as well. If iCache is delayed, will they be able to add in Crusader without taking out Delamar? Yes. So they don't need iCache and server meshing to add in Crusader and Horizon, but they want to have iCache and server meshing in for when they add in Pyro. Pyro is going to be coming at the same time as server meshing, they've said. His stuff does change around a bit. It's CIG. The new roadmaps that we're going to be getting, that's going to be good for my channel. That's going to be good for us, just working out what CIG are doing with all of their sort of like the development. I'm not sure how far in the future it's going to show, though. That's going to be the thing. Does it show a year? Great. A year's fine. I would like more, but a year would be fine. But if they only show like 2 quarters, I'll be like, come on, I want more. Give me more. Do you still use Shadow for playing Star Citizen? Yes, occasionally, but only really to test it to make sure it works. If so, do you get the same bug I do, where every time you launch Star Citizen, the screen freezes and you have to use the restart streaming option? No, I have not had that problem. However, I will test out Shadow again over the weekend to make sure that it's not some sort of update, because I haven't tested Shadow since they. I don't think I've done it with 3.11 Live yet. I'll have to double check, because obviously they've changed some stuff around in 3.11 Live. I did it in the PTU, but I don't think I did it with Live. Do you expect a big influx of new players with server meshing, iCache, and Pyro release? Yeah, I mean, I expect more and more players every major patch, for sure. And when Star Citizen is significantly more playable with server meshing, because then that can move servers from only 50 people on a server to technically thousands on a server, which will be fucking great. Oh, a bit more MMO in my MMO, hey? The frame stability is terrible for you. What? In Star Citizen at the moment, it's been really good for me. Although, that said, I've been crashing a lot recently, so that's not so good. Right. I'm going to dash off in a second. So, Star Citizen Live will be, I think, starting in 10 minutes or so. And that's going to have Luke Presley and some other Star Citizen royalty talking about 3.11. And I'm hoping they also talk about near-term and sort of like 3.12 plans, but also maybe a bit about the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, a bit about the Mercury Star Runner, some of the fixes and stuff like that. What capital ship is going to be the biggest you can buy in Star Citizen? I think you'll be able to use Bengals at some point. I suspect eventually they'll allow you to even have the giant Vandal ships, but like years and years after release, they'll probably do something. But yeah, I hope my back gets better as well. Thank you very much for the love. My dad is doing incredibly well. So the doctor had a call yesterday and basically just said, we'll give you a CT scan in a couple of months. You seem just to make sure the osimertinib, that's what he's on, is working well. So it's sort of targeted therapy, which seems to be keeping his cancer in check. It's great. It's genuinely been a little miracle. So, Pyro is the next star system, but what's after Pyro? Almost certainly the Nyx system, and then them working towards the Odin system is very likely. So Nyx is where Delamar Levski is supposed to be, which we actually have in the standard system at the moment, so they'll be moving that over, and it's directly connected to the Pyro system as well, and it sort of makes sense. And obviously Odin system is the system that they've got for Squadron 42. That's the most likely course of action. Exclusive rewards and items, things like subscriber and other one-of-a-kind items ever get an insurance feature. I'm expecting lots of stuff to be able to be insured for the future, yes. Hi, Board. Thank you for the great content. Thank you very much, Lucky Charms. Very much appreciated. And thank you very much for that, that donation as part of your question. Humdillah. Very much appreciated, sir. Yes. Statement. Really enjoying the interview recreation that Zin's doing. Appreciated. I think she'll like that you said that. I've sort of like just been throwing a load of videos at her. You'll see Zin occasionally in videos. You'll see her occasionally doing voiceovers or running a video effectively herself. But I'll still make sure I'm the main part and draw of the channel, obviously, because I'm beautiful. But thank you very much. I do appreciate that. I do think she's a very good choice, and she'll evolve with the channel, and now we'll get a little bit more effort into a lot of stuff, because I'm very low effort. When it comes to editing, anyway. I'm terrible at it. I don't have an interest in it. Do you think they will be releasing the NPCs for your own ship this coming year, and do you think it will take away from the social interaction these kind of games really rely on? No, I don't think we're going to have NPCs, an NPC crew, for a while. I think we'll see AI modules first, and I think that will be sort of like more likely towards the end of next year as a thing. And maybe we'll get AI NPCs as wingmen and as part of missions, so like friendlies. Would you ever consider doing a voice pack for voice attack? 100%. If they asked me to do that, I would do it. Will we ever get teleporters and stargates in Star Citizen? I don't believe so. Obviously, jump points look a bit like stargates, and they do move you around, and there will be like wormholes and jump points in game that you can find. Right, I'm going to dash off because I'm going to get a cup of tea, and then I'm going to be watching Luke Presley and the rest of the people on twitch.tv/Star Citizen. So go over and watch them. I will host them as well. We do need Quanta. We do need the dynamic universe simulation. Something I'm very much looking forward to. Right. I love you guys. You take care. Age demographic. What is the age demographic of Star Citizen? 24 to 45-year-olds mainly, I would expect. Sort of like within that, male. Probably closer to 30 to 40-year-olds. As they're like maybe 60% of their player base would be my sort of expectation. I can have a look and do a bit more of a better breakdown. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me today. Let's see if I can actually just host Star Citizen straight up. Because if not, they're not live yet. They are live now. Fucking fantastic. Pardon my French. /raid. Bam. They are going live in 4 minutes. That's just enough time for me to get a cup of tea. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is very much appreciated. I love you guys all very much. Thank you for allowing me to basically do play games as my job. And thanks for watching all my content. The people that have gone the extra mile in joining as a YouTuber member, which really helps support the channel, or donating, or even asking a question. It is genuinely appreciated. Thank you so much. All the donations at the moment are going to be going towards a new processor, although I already have a 3950X. Zin's getting that, and we're getting a 3950 as well, and we're building 2 Star Citizen PCs at different budgets that should both play the game at pretty high spec and also be proper beast computers, that not like mad and beastly, not like let's buy a 3090 because that makes it expensive, stuff that's more repeatable and sensible. But I love you guys, you take care, peace out, talk soon, mwah.